What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Celluloid Psychosis. I am your host, TJ Bowser, and joining me, as always, is the very handsome, the very British Mr. Paul Ashford. What's up, buddy?
Hey, it's all good here, man. It's all good. All good. Very, very happy to be talking about this movie.
Yes.
I've had a good week, man. I've had a really good week, actually. I had some physical media turn up. Jason Goes to Hell 4K from Arrow has arrived. Unfortunately, Jason X is apparently sold out by Arrow at the moment, but I did pre-order it, so that has been delayed for me, unfortunately. But I haven't watched it yet, but I've got that to look forward to. The packaging's beautiful. Other than that, I've been watching a lot more Better Call Saul. We are into the very final season now. I think we've got like 4 episodes left. It's been a riot. It's been great. I love it. The girlfriend loves it as well. I haven't really watched many movies this week, if any, actually, apart from this one, obviously. But it's Better Call Saul has kind of taken over all of our TV watching. Did watch a bit of the Eurovision Song Contest. I know you're a fan of that. On TV, it's a big thing in the UK and Europe. Other than that, man, I started in my brand new store for work. I've only been in there 2 days, but it's been good so far. It's a great change for me. I'm enjoying it, which is great. But yeah, man, that's my week. How about yourself?
Man, it's been fucking flat out at work. You guys, if you've been listening to the show, I've started a new job at the gun store. And it's a whole new world for me, and I'm still getting used to everything. I'm about 2 months in now and really enjoying it. But this morning I took the whole day off because I worked the polls, because this morning was the local primary election, and I was there representing some candidates, passing out slate cards, all the good stuff, trying to get the people where they need to be. But that was fun, a good experience as always. I haven't ordered any physical media since the Vince and halfway to Black Friday sale, but
that's unusual for you.
Yeah, just kind of waiting. Today's announcement from Shout Factory is going to have another. That's definitely going to end up right there. That'll fit right there perfectly. 12 discs. Come on now. I'm excited for that. We'll probably talk about that in depth next episode, because it is a heap of information. But like we said, it is a very cool episode this week. This week's movie is The Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue from 1974, or some might call it Let Sleeping Corpses Lie from 1974, or Don't Open the Window, or Breakfast at the Manchester Morgue, or Zombie 3. It all depends on what region you're from or what title you like, but we're here for it. This movie is directed by George Grau.
Yeah, I think it's pronounced weird. I watched some of the extras on the disc. It's like Georgia or something like that. But yeah, he's Spanish, so yeah.
Jorge.
I think it was like 2.
Yeah, Jorge. It would be Jorge Grau.
Yeah,
he's Spanish.
Yeah, we'll take that.
Sandro Continenza, and Marcelo Coscia. Yeah. Starring Christina Calbo as Edna Simmons, Ray Lovelock as George Meaning, Arthur Kennedy as the Inspector, Aldo Massasso as Detective Sergeant Kinsey, Janine Metri as Katie West, Jose Lafante as Martin West, Fernando Hillback as Guthrie, and special effects done by Gianetto De Rossi, who did Zombie and The Beyond.
Yeah, I think he did quite a lot of Fulci stuff.
Paul, give us that plot.
Okay, I'll read the plot straight from the back of the Synapse release. A strange twist of fate brings 2 young travelers, George and Edna, to a small town where an experimental agricultural machine may be bringing the dead back to life. As zombies infest the area and attack the living, a bull-headed detective thinks the couple are Satanists responsible for the local killings. George and Edna have to fight for their lives and prove their innocence as they try and stop the impending zombie apocalypse. Yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff. So this is my first time ever watching this movie. Like I said, this is a Paul pick. Paul kind of likened it to the British version of Night of the Living Dead. I don't know what it is.
Euro Night of the Living Dead, I'd say, yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Anyway,
I mean, it came what for 6 years after the Night of the Living Dead, but crucially before Dawn of the Dead. So in between. So quite interesting. Well, I find it very interesting just to see this sort of zombie film years before. I mean, for me, Dawn of the Dead is probably the best zombie film ever made.
Hmm.
Although Zombie Flesh Eaters is up there too, I would say. And this for me is no one talks about this film really. This is like more of a hidden gem, quiet film. But this is for me, just purely because I'm British and it's set in Britain and it's a bit Euro and all that. I like this one up there too, but I can see why it's not a huge, massive hit amongst horror fans.
It's different for sure,
Yeah.
and the story's everywhere, kind of. There's
Yeah.
a lot to take in. So,
Mhm.
Paul, speaking of that, give them kind of like the flow of this movie because there's a lot of weaving. I've
Mhm.
never seen. Okay, so what causes the zombies, Paul?
Oh, it's really cool. So again, another thing I like about this film, almost all of it is set in like the British countryside, and I live in the British countryside, so it's not like you that lives in Romero land. So that's probably your biggest attachment to the Romero film. So this for me is almost like I love seeing films set in the UK because we don't get many like you guys do, or as many. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird, lovely British countryside. It's actually filmed in the Lake District in the UK, which is a lovely part of the world. Um, Real funny intro actually because this guy what's his name, George, he's traveling on his little motorbike from Manchester. So it starts off in Manchester and there's this really weird scene of all these people in Manchester, a really busy town, and then there's a naked woman just running through the town and people are just kind of looking at her. I guess that happens a lot in the UK, I don't know, but he's some sort of antiques dealer, closes his shop up for the weekend and he's shooting off to his country home. And then he stops off at a little garage, and a woman in a car accidentally reverses into his bike and breaks it. And she ends up giving him a lift to his house, or what's going to be his house. And they embark on this little adventure for the weekend through the countryside. And yeah, they come across this lovely little tiny village in the countryside, and there's these farmers with this big machine, and there's some scientists experimenting to kill crops, isn't it? They've got like this like almost like a satellite radar ding thing that like kills. Oh no, it's not crops, is it? It kills the rats and stuff, right? It kills pests like a pesticide. Um, they're experimenting with that, and unbeknownst to these people, it actually brings the dead back to life. And that's kind of how the film starts going. Um, the first zombie you see is probably my favorite zombie. His name is Guthrie, and it's the woman Wendy.
He's the main zombie for like 45 minutes of the film.
Yeah, so he's the first one. He turns out to be like the town or the village drunk that drowned in the lake, but he's still very much alive as a zombie. No one believes her that she saw this guy because they all know he's a town drunk. He died. Um, and then there's a really angry inspector policeman who thinks they're like yuppies from from the city, and they're talking rubbish. And then he thinks they're Satanists because all these people start dying. It's actually the zombies killing the people. This policeman thinks it's them, and the story just kind of spirals from there, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
She has like a drug addicted sister who has a weird relationship with her husband in the country. That's who she's going to see, and that's who we see in the film.
Mm-hmm.
That does lead to one really good scene. So he's a photographer, right?
Oh, yes, probably the
Yeah.
most clever part of the entire movie,
Hmm.
arguably.
Yeah. He's a photographer and he's taking photos with his camera set up. And yeah, there's a zombie attack, and it's kind of done through the camera lens, isn't it? With like scenes, and you see like, and that's how they realize that it was a zombie attacking this guy. It was Guthrie. It wasn't like them murdering him because they're Satanists. But yeah, the story kind of spirals from there. There you go. Is that your
Whoa.
camera? Well, look at
Yeah.
that.
It's the only way you can see it.
Yeah, it's just this crazy little movie set in the English countryside. Some really, really good zombies. So for me, the first time I ever saw this movie was on VHS, and this film was actually banned for quite a long time in England.
Nasty.
Yeah, part of the video nasties list. I think just because it had zombies in it and it was set in Manchester, or it had Manchester in the
Hmm.
title. It eventually got a VHS release. I actually had the old video of it, but again, another release, another title which I didn't put on
You know
there.
what's funny is they probably didn't even have to watch this one.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just like, oh no, not Manchester.
Yeah, exactly. So the copy I had on VHS was just called The Living Dead.
Ah.
So that's another title which we didn't put in there. But I remember watching that VHS thinking, wow, this film's really cool, and why have I never heard of it before, other than it being on the
Hmm.
nasties list. Um, and then I did pick up a Blu-ray of it many years ago, which I rewatched again for the first time since VHS. Loved it. Um, and then last year at the 35mm horror film fest that I go to, they actually showed this film on a 35mm screen, a 35mm print with a massive audience, and it was, I would say, probably the surprise hit of the entire 3 day weekend, because everyone loved this film. They were whooping, laughing, enjoying it. It was great. It was great to see it with a whole audience in a cinema really loving these sort of horror genre films. So
Yeah.
I'm in love with this film. So I know you're gonna destroy it, but you're a Romero fan.
So the look of the zombie is what gets me. The main zombie, Guthrie, and like I said,
Guthrie,
there's this prevailing thing where he's the only zombie for like the 45 minutes, and then we get
huh?
this thing where he can touch zombie like dead things,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
it brings them back to life. Now that itself is cool.
That is a cool scene, though.
Yes, and I like that dynamic because it's new for zombie lore. What I
Hmm.
don't like is the weird Sonic shit causing.
It's different.
The, the only way you can tell Guthrie's a zombie is because of his eyes,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's how you can tell people have turned.
Hmm.
Some zombies are overtly dead, living dead.
Hmm.
Some are not. Some just look like normal dudes. I mean,
Hmm.
at least in the Living Dead movies I know, they at least paint them blue. Uh, so I like the whole story of how, kind of like how they're getting blamed for the deaths,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's like a constant subplot throughout the movie, and it
Hmm.
kind of makes it clever, and that kind of ties into the scene with the photographer, because of course the editing in that scene is fantastic, because the flash of the bulb
Yeah.
transitions to the next scene, and it's wonderful. Anyway, uh the interactions with our couples, it's mainly the man and the
Yeah.
main cop there,
Hmm.
and their dynamic though goes back and forth, because he's kind of like secretly protecting the town while also getting chased by cops throughout the entire movie. And just as he goes to, I finally finished off the last of the zombies, they go in and they're like, oh, you just killed a bunch of innocent people. And
Yeah.
that's an interesting motif that I haven't really seen in other movies,
Hmm.
which kind of plays into the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, the end of the movie is just a cop out because it's just a copy of Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Anyway,
There's
take,
version of it is, yeah.
take your main character and get him shot. Uh,
And
there
then
we
he
go.
comes back.
This
Yeah.
movie lacks social commentary, where Night of the
Hmm.
Living Dead has tons.
Hmm.
Uh, unless I'm missing something culturally here, this just seems like an exploitation movie. Am I correct?
Well, yeah, I'd say so. It's more. I mean, if you wanted to say social commentary, it's more about the folks in the countryside not accepting city people. So instantly, the police or that inspector thinks, now there's no zombies, there's nothing going on. It's just these two people are Satanists. They've come from the city for the weekend. They're killing people here. They're killing people in our local town. But yeah, yeah,
Okay,
it
fair
is, it
enough.
is a it is a pure exploitation film. The funny thing is we haven't mentioned. So it's a Spanish Italian collaboration,
Yes, and that's very evident.
filmed in the United Kingdom, and
I think,
they're all dubbed, aren't they?
yeah, the
So they're not English
Spanish
actors.
and British influence there adds some gothic stuff to it,
Yeah, yeah.
setting wise and production design.
Hmm.
The Italian nature's there, like in the actual production itself.
Hmm.
Like the way the film was shot,
Yeah,
and the post production seems very Italian and on par for '74. If
yeah.
you're a fan of Jolly, this definitely looks
Looks
uh,
like that.
looks just like it would fit into that era.
Yeah,
Uh, it's not a bad movie by any means. It
that's a very
has
good movie.
It's very of its time, and if
Hmm.
you're going in thinking this is like a Romero Living Dead movie or Return of Living Dead, it's a whole nother thing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the zombies in this one are definitely more supernatural, and I like that kind of, but
Yeah.
at the same time, the whole virus aspect's lost here.
Really.
It's kind of taken over by the whole whoever he touches type thing,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which lends to a really cool end scene. But at the same time, come on now, I could have called that. Maybe that's just bad hindsight.
Yeah.
I like there's stuff in this movie I like and some stuff I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
I had trouble connecting to the characters. That also could have been because of the awful dub.
It's hilarious though. It's
It
hilarious.
is. It is.
Like
It
when we
adds.
saw it in the cinema, everyone was just laughing. You know, it's like real English. His real English accent. The main
Mhm.
guy. He's actually an Italian actor. I looked him up, and but yeah, real sort of almost Cockney English accent, and he's talking to
Mhm.
that girl, and it's hilarious. And there's like the inspector who's like really just hates him throughout the film.
And it's
It's
pretty
weird because
light
that's
on
really
gore
funny.
until we get to the nurse mutilation.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. It goes full on gore, like you said. Like we only really see Guthrie for the first 45 minutes or
Mhm.
longer, and suddenly he goes into that sort of secluded church, and then Guthrie just wakes up the zombies or wakes up the
Mhm.
dead through their
And
eyes.
that's not even that bad because they're still just fighting all those people, and maybe
Yeah,
we get an axe to the head. But once
yeah,
we get in
yeah,
that
yeah.
fucking hospital
Oh, it
or
goes
the morgue,
crazy.
whatever it
But
is.
saying that at the church, I like there's one really cool scene with Guthrie when he just picks up the like the stone cross, like the gravestone.
Oh yeah, they
And he
just
just
pick up fucking headstones and throw
yeah.
them.
So they're almost a bit intelligent zombies, aren't they? Kind of.
I wouldn't say no, they're super strong, which is
Super
something we've
strong,
never
yeah. Oh,
seen.
it's that pesticide stuff, hey?
Because we've seen like even in like in George's films, we see zombies use utensils like rocks and shit
Yeah,
to
yeah.
break shit. I think they even use one in Night of the Living Dead, right, to break the window in the truck.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I want to say it's something like that. I could be
Yeah, yeah,
remembering it
yeah.
wrong. It could be the remake, but
Yeah.
this is the first time I've ever. Fucking gravestones are heavy, and
Yeah.
they care pick them up and throw them at fucking walls.
Yeah, yeah.
It's nuts.
And that scene as well in the church, when they pin down the policeman and he's on the floor and they just rip all his guts out. And I was like, oh, they've just ripped off Dawn of the Dead. I was like, well, hang on,
Yeah.
no, actually, no, this was like 4 years before Dawn of the Dead.
Hmm.
So everyone presumes like Dawn of the well, I always presumed that Dawn of the Dead was like the Tom Savini gut wrenching. You know, I thought that was exclusive to Dawn of the Dead, and then everyone ripped that off. But no, it's in this one. I'd love to see a timeline of all zombie films, see who did that kind of thing first. It might well have been this one
Yeah.
for all we know. But that was really cool. That was the first proper, really gory scene, wasn't it, in that churchyard? And then they ripping out the guy's throat as well. But yeah, like you said, it goes.
Oh yeah, you're right. That is yeah, you're right. Yep.
Yeah, he's put on the floor. And they're all like ripping his guts out, and then someone pops one of his eyes out as well. I'm just like eating it. But yeah, that's when it really kicks into gear for the gore. So it goes from this like hilariously dubbed, cheesy comedy of one little zombie. Suddenly, it's an all-out kind of gore fest with zombies everywhere in the
Hmm.
church. Um, then it goes crazy in the hospital, like this little
Oh, full on, dude. It's
yeah, yeah, with like
brutal.
yeah,
Boob
yeah,
ripping.
yeah, Griffin, yeah, but that's kind of Euro, I guess, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just goes crazy. It's just like
In
wow,
the
okay,
movie Strip Nude for Your Killer, we get boob
hmm
mutilation in that as well.
yeah, yeah,
A very Euro thing, like you said.
yeah. So yeah, it goes pretty wild. And then all the while, all through that, you got this detective guy still thinking it's the couple doing it.
You have to have it.
Yeah,
Poliziotteschi movies at the time had that type of character, and this guy is just relentless.
yeah.
I wish you weren't lying so I could kill you again. Ah, that's how the movie's gonna end.
But no, I love it. It's great. I love this film. Um, it's kind of weird that it hasn't had this, didn't get the success of other zombie films.
Mhm.
But
You think because it's tonally, it's just so different than everything else, and then
yeah,
like
probably
it's
like everyone.
also in Britain.
I'd imagine people say, "Oh, this movie's dubbed," and they instantly think it's rubbish. You know,
Mhm.
they're like, "Oh, look at the dubbing on this; it's terrible," and that's it. You kind of turn it off, or you don't want to see it. But I think it's great. It's just I just love. I think the zombies are really good. The gore's really good. I obviously I'm biased because it's set in the UK and it's got the lovely English countryside.
Yeah,
for me. It was banned in the UK as well, so it had that extra cool factor for a long time until it was unbanned. And now it's got this amazing release by Synapse, nice steelbook, loads of extras. It's even got the soundtrack on there. We didn't really talk about the soundtrack, but it's got like
That's
a
sick.
typical Euro soundtrack, synthesizers and all that. Yeah, it's cool. I love it. It's just a hidden gem. I would say it's a hidden zombie gem.
Yes.
And people might watch it and think, oh, it's just a Dawn of the Dead ripoff. But you got to remember, this came out years before. Well, it was in between. Obviously, it's a Night of the Living Dead knockoff for sure. Like you said, the ending is a complete. They've just ripped the Night of the Living Dead ending and put it in this film. But yeah, they bring their own Euro style to a George Romero zombie flick. There is an interview with the special effects guy who did Zombie Flesh Eaters or Zombie and the Beyond and all that on there, and they actually ask him, "Did you copy Night of the Living Dead, Romero's Night of the Living Dead?" And he likened Night of the Living Dead to a comic book, and this is more full on horror. But I thought that was quite interesting. So he said, "No, we didn't copy it. He watched it and took his own ideas from that movie." So yeah, take from that what you will. But yeah, this guy obviously later went on to do the famous worm eye zombie from Zombie, or Zombie Eaters as we call it in the UK. So yeah, it's got some credentials, this movie, from the cast. But yeah, I love it. I just think if you want to see it, people that like zombie films, there's probably a lot of people that just have not even heard or seen this film.
I
I mean, it's
bet you
got,
the social commentaries, the environmental issues.
yeah, environmental issues and yuppies in the country coming to the countryside and trying to ruin it. Although they weren't actually doing that, but yeah,
Were they
yeah.
murderers?
But it looks great. It looks great on the Blu-ray. It's a 4K
Yeah.
restoration. It's not a 4K disc, unfortunately, but it's a 4K restoration. It looks really nice. I mean, when I saw it in the cinema, it was a 35mm, and that looks beautiful as well.
Excellent colors, especially in the
Yeah, the
outdoors.
colors work really well in this. It's nice deep colors, and you got Guthrie, Guthrie's a little bit blue, but that's just because he drowned in the lake, isn't it? In his eye, just love the bloody eyes of all the zombies. Kind of signifies what they look like. But no, I'm a big fan of this film, and even more so now that I've got to see it on the big screen. So and it's a UK film. Just a shame it's got so many titles, because I think what do you think is your favorite title?
I like this one, to Let Sleeping Corpses
Yeah,
Lie.
Let's Sleep in Corpses Lie. I think that was the American title, apparently. I think, or
Makes
one of the
sense.
American titles. But Don't Open the Window is a bit of a strange one.
Yeah.
Apparently, that came as a double bill in the US with Don't Go in the Basement. So Don't Go in the Basement and Don't Open the Window. So yeah, they just, I guess from the 70s they could just rename films as and when they
Don't
wanted
tell
to.
mom the babysitter's dead.
Yeah, that sort of stuff.
Don't Be a Menace in the South Side. Well, yeah.
Or Drinking Juice, or whatever that one is. Yeah.
Yes. The Wayans brothers movies.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very, very Euro.
Very.
Very cheesy. Very, very, very dubbed as well. I think a lot of the cast and the crew are all passed away now, because this is from the sort of early mid-70s. I know the director's passed on. The main star, Ray Lovelock, has passed on as well. But yeah, it's definitely a hidden gem. But I'd highly recommend the Synapse release if you can still find it. I think it's probably out of print by now, but you see it on eBay, but it goes for quite a lot, unfortunately. I think it's Synapse. I'm pretty sure it's Synapse. I can't remember. But yeah, it's great. I love it. What do you think, TJ?
Yeah. So I've said this before, but it's an interesting movie. I like Italian films of this era and of this genre. But as far as a zombie movie, I'm an elitist asshole, and this is going to rank pretty low as far as a zombie movie for me. Yeah, it just doesn't hit some of the notches that doesn't. Some of those things that those check marks, that I'm looking for in a zombie movie. It has some of them, and it brings some new stuff to the table. But then I just feel like It shortcutted the more, tried to be different, and it didn't come off as well as it could have been.
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I get why you like it if it's a film that you can relate to,
Mm-hmm.
100%. It's just nobody in this film's drinking Iron City beer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recognize a single location. I'm just messing. No, essentially, if the zombies came from a different purpose, like a different source, I'd probably be cooler with it. If they look different, that'd be cool. If we
Yeah.
got more than one zombie in the first 45 minminutes, I think maybe the pacing would be better. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like the movie's really strange. It kind of like stutters at the beginning and then kind of
Yeah.
finally finds its footing. Like I said, about 45 minutes in. It's only an hour and a half, so it's not
Mm-hmm.
that big of a dedication here, but it's still like I feel like it suffers from pacing issues overall. Nails on atmosphere, nails on
Yeah.
production design, and it's got all that. But like if you
Got the
don't
gore.
like dubbed films, yeah, gore galore. It's all up in here. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't look bad like some of the early '70s
No.
Italian stuff, but it looks pretty damn good. Gross, some could
Mm-hmm.
say. It's pretty
Yeah.
nasty. Like
Yeah.
we did mention some boob ripping and some throat ripping. Of course, that's to be expected of 1970s, early 70s Italian films.
Mm-hmm.
Spanish stuff. Have you watch a Spanish Jolly or anything like that, Paul?
I've seen like what about the and it's not Charlie, but I've seen the Blind Dead films. They're Spanish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're Spanish. Yeah, yeah, they're really cool.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
got a handful of Spanish horror films. They're hit or miss for me, which
Mm-hmm.
again could also explain this. There's just the whole cultural divide that kind of like separates me understanding some of this stuff. Again, I understand some of the Italian movies, but this one's kind of all left field for me. The chase in the mausoleum, I felt was very silly because those zombies got out really easy,
Oh,
and they all could
the
have just got
underground.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
where I feel like there wasn't as much of a sense of danger there. It's kind
Right.
of just like them being stupid, and that's kind of an annoyance.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't really necessarily lock themselves in, but whenever they accept defeat there,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and I don't like that. And these zombies are pussies when it comes to fire. Like you
Oh
pull
yeah, that was
fire
mentioned.
out,
Yeah,
like they go
fire.
right up. Like
They're
yeah,
scared of
Romero
fire.
zombies are scared of fire. These
Mm-hmm.
fuckers go up like instantly.
Well, it's that pesticide thing, isn't it? It's like it makes them not
It's
flame
Sonic
retardant.
though. It's pesticide free.
Mm. Yeah, it
I
does.
did like the scene when he tried to destroy it and did absolutely nothing.
Oh yeah, just like bashed it a bit, didn't he?
He went full eco terrorist and
Yeah.
then got like 2 or 3 good whacks in and then was removed. Could have been a cooler scene. And no, but it's not a bad movie. You
It's
said you saw a
definitely
35 millimeters screening with it with a bunch of people. That
yeah,
would have
yeah,
been
that was
fun.
great. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
great. That was so much fun. Whooping, cheering, laughing. Yeah, that was great. It's just a packed cinema full of genre fans. That was really good way. And more than half the crowd had never seen that film before. They always do an intro before the movies and say, "Put your hand up if you've seen it," and hardly anyone has seen this one. So
Huh.
yeah, I think people were surprised. People were surprised, and obviously it's in the UK as well. So British people seen a British, Lake District and Manchester on the big screen with zombies. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
what would you rate this movie out of 5, just as a movie in general, Paul?
As a movie in general, like you said, it's not great. As a movie, I'd probably 3 out of 5.
Okay,
But
that's fair.
as entertainment, easy 5 out of 5.
Uh-huh.
Because
I mean, it's no Jack Frost 2, but like. There's a nostalgia factor here that plays.
It's fair. It's like I said, it's Italian slash Spanish dubbed. They've put it into English language. They've done a good job. No one's going to take it too seriously because of the dubbing, unfortunately. But as pure entertainment, I would say 5 out of 5. I love it. Atmospheric as well. It's really atmospheric. Probably because I'm British and it's in Britain.
I'm gonna go 2.5 out of 5.
Yeah. Okay, is that for
It's
the
a
film
movie.
or for overall entertainment?
Overall, everything.
Oh, okay. So we're half. We're half. You're 2.5, and I'm 5.
Yeah.
Interesting. Can I re-rate Jack Frost 2?
No.
Oh,
Only because this movie had no little monsters in
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
it.
Yeah, but Jack Frost 2 didn't have boob ripping, so
Frozen boobs.
yeah.
Let's hear in the comments what's better. Yeah. If you're into this types of movies, and yeah, I totally recommend watching this because, like Paul said, it's an underrated, underspoken about, underappreciated movie.
Yep.
Video nasty. So come on, guys. And if, like Paul said, there's a Synapse release, and
Mhm.
I haven't really seen much about this movie via like any sort of release other than that. So
Yeah. I don't
yeah,
know if it's on Tubi or Tubby, however you say. I don't know.
I think it's on AMC Plus in the
Okay.
States.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the only place
Wow.
I can see it right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Seek it out if you can, I would say.
It's not too difficult to find, but it's just difficult enough to keep people from watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you recommend this film, Paul? And how would you recommend it? How would you sell somebody on this?
I'd recommend it to anyone that likes zombie films
Mm-hmm.
or Euro horror, and I would say easy sell in the UK because it's set in the UK. It's set in the Lake District. It's set in Manchester. You don't really see gory zombie films like that in the UK, and it's a video nasty. So everyone, or any UK horror film fan wants to watch the. I don't know. I've always set out. I want to see every film that's on the video nasties list because there was a lot. This was one of them. So yeah, go
Fuck
watch.
yeah.
But if
Awesome.
you're not, don't expect a great film. Don't expect like a well-made, put together.
This is not
It's not that.
Tarkovsky.
Yeah, it's not that at all.
Maybe one day we'll talk about Tarkovsky, but today is not that day. And today is what? Tuesday?
Tuesday, I was gonna say Wednesday.
It is
Wednesday's
Tuesday.
tomorrow.
But anyway, thank you for tuning in on another episode of Celluloid Psychosis. We will be back next week. Same bat time. Same bat channel, because, Paul, my schedule's the same for next week.
Sweet.
Yes. Next week, like I said, we will be back talking about Blu-ray news, rumors, and all that jazz. Hopefully by that time, I have seen Clown in a Cornfield, and we can talk about it.
Really?
Yeah. But I think I have my next pick, and we'll talk about that next episode, of course. But if you like this podcast and want to listen to other ones just like this one, head on over to www.projectlouder.net or anywhere else you consume audio-only content, Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon. That is some, but not all of them. I'm everywhere, folks. We are everywhere. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week. I'm TJ Bowser. That's Paul Ashford. Tally ho.